Okay, so today we're diving into something I think a lot of our listeners have probably thought about at one point or another, which is how to refine their English accent. Yeah. We've got some really interesting stuff lined up for you guys.
Yeah.
We're looking at how celebrities kind of achieve their distinctive sounds, and we've got some tongue twisters to practice, and we're even going to lay out a whole 7-day plan for you guys.
A whole week.
Yeah, to work on this. So our goal here is to extract actual things you can do.
Yes, actionable.
Yeah, actionable steps.
Yeah.
To really improve your pronunciation.
Exactly. And we're not just going to passively listen to these well-known voices or anything like that. We're going to really look at specific things like how they achieve clarity, the sharpness of sounds or a more relaxed delivery,
right?
And then how you can take some of that and incorporate it into your own way of speaking.
Right. Think about Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
And just that unmistakable clarity that you get when you hear him speak, or that crisp kind of consonant sound that you often hear with Emma Watson, and even that kind of slightly more laid-back way that Ryan Reynolds might say certain sounds.
More of a relaxed art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to try to break down what makes those accents work.
Right.
And most importantly, give you some things that you can do.
Actionable.
Yeah, to work on your own accents.
Yeah. So where should we start?
Okay. Well, let's start with Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
When you think about Morgan Freeman's voice, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
It's the resonance for me. It's just so...
It's that deep clarity. Yeah. And actually, one of the things that our sources point to is this technique of speaking from your chest.
Interesting.
So you can actually feel this if you put your hand on your sternum, right in the middle of your chest while you're talking.
Interesting.
So we just try, put your hand there now.
Okay.
And just kind of feel the difference.
What's interesting about this speaking from the chest idea is the physics of it.
Right.
Because when you engage your chest more, it's creating these fuller vocal cord vibrations.
Okay.
And allows for better, projection of your voice.
So it's not about, trying to make your voice deeper.
Exactly.
Necessarily.
Yeah, you're not going for an impersonation here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about that resonance.
Yes. Using that resonance to help with the clarity.
So to give you guys a real sense of this, put your hand there on your chest and say this phrase really slowly and deliberately.
Okay.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Life is like a box of chocolate.
And really try to feel those vibrations coming from a lower place.
Oh, wow.
Do you notice a difference?
You can almost hear the grounded quality.
Yeah.
It adds a certain weight,
yes.
authority.
Yeah, and I think, for some people that might feel a little bit unnatural at first.
I would imagine so.
If you're not used to it.
Yeah.
So it's something that takes a little bit of practice to kind of make it feel normal.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about someone with a very different type of clarity.
Okay.
Emma Watson.
Yeah.
What would you say is a key characteristic?
For me, it's the crisp consonant sounds.
Yeah.
And particularly tet sounds.
Yeah.
We talk about clarity, but she has this very precise way of articulating.
Yeah.
And our material highlighted this technique of sharply tapping your tongue
really?
right behind your teeth.
Interesting.
So you can feel it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a very deliberate articulation.
So think about the word important.
Right.
People might say important.
Yeah, you kind of swallow that tet.
Right, but Emma Watson, it's important.
Important. You really hear that middle tet.
Yeah, it's so crisp and sharp.
What's really cool here is the phonetic detail.
Okay.
When we talk about a crisp tick, we mean that your tongue makes firm contact with the alveolar ridge. Oh, wow.
That's that little bumpy bit behind your upper teeth.
Right.
And then it releases cleanly.
Okay.
So it's avoiding that lax or softened pronunciation.
Okay, so we've talked about resonance. We've talked about... Let's move on to Ryan Reynolds.
All right.
What do we got with Ryan Reynolds?
So with Ryan Reynolds, the focus is on a more relaxed pronunciation.
Okay.
Particularly when it comes to the R sound at the end of words.
Interesting.
It's been described as a softened R or even a lazy R.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what would be an example of that?
So instead of a really hard R at the end of a word, butter or water,
okay,
you might hear something closer to but-tuh or what-tuh. What-tuh.
Yes.
I see.
And that creates this more kind of casual, North American sounding flow to his speech.
Right. And it's so fascinating how these little variations on their R can be such a giveaway.
Absolutely.
About where someone's from.
Huge indicator of regional accents.
Yeah, right.
And, like many accents in England are non-rhotic.
Right.
Meaning that R at the end of the word or before a consonant is often not pronounced at all.
Right.
So Ryan Reynolds, a relaxed R, is just one example of a very specific rhotic style.
Okay, so we've talked about resonance. We've talked about, the sharp consonants. And then this idea of having a more relaxed approach to sounds. Now let's talk about something fun and practical.
Let's do it.
Tongue twisters.
I love tongue twisters.
Yeah, because they really make you concentrate on how you're moving.
They force you to.
Around. Yeah. And it really highlights where your pronunciation might not be as clear as you think it is.
Absolutely.
So for you guys, we've got a beginner level 1.
Okay, bring it on.
She sells seashells.
Classic. It's a classic for a reason.
It really makes you think about that S versus that sh.
The distinction there.
Yeah, so try saying that a few times and really pay attention to what your tongue is doing.
And it's helpful to start slowly. Yeah.
Focus on getting each sound right. Before you try to speed it up.
Right.
The goal isn't speed at first.
Right.
It's accuracy.
Okay, and then we've got a bit more of a challenge for you.
Well, okay, hit me.
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
Oh, wow.
This one is really targeting the clarity of your C and K sounds.
That's a tough one.
Which can sometimes get a little muddled.
Yeah, you can find yourself tripping up if you're not really paying attention to how you're forming those sounds.
Right.
It requires a very deliberate movement of the back of your tongue against the soft palate for the K.
Okay.
And slightly further forward for the C sound.
I see.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys who are into using technology to help you improve, our sources mention the ELSA Speak app.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Have you?
Yeah.
Apparently, it can give you immediate feedback on your pronunciation.
Which is so useful because, you can pinpoint the sounds you're struggling with.
Right.
And it gives you guidance on how to adjust. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so let's move from these very specific exercises to a more comprehensive approach.
Okay, I like it.
A 7-day accent improvement plan.
A whole week.
Yeah.
This is the kind of structure I need in my life.
Yeah, so the first 3 days, day 1 through 3, focus on something that might seem really simple.
Okay.
But it's actually quite powerful. Mirror work.
Oh, looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, so you spend some time each day just practicing speaking. But you're watching your mouth shapes in the mirror.
Interesting.
So you can actually see how your lips, your tongue, your jaw are moving.
I see.
And compare that to how you see native speakers forming those sounds.
It's bringing a visual awareness to something that we usually experience through just hearing or feeling. You might notice, for example, that you're not opening your mouth as much as someone with the accent you're aiming for when they pronounce certain vowel sounds.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for days 4 through 7, the plan shifts to recording yourself speaking.
Okay.
And then comparing that to recordings of native speakers.
Interesting.
So this could be clips from movies, podcasts like this one.
Sure.
Even just language learning materials, whatever you have access to.
That's so interesting because, hearing your own voice recorded can be quite eye-opening.
It is.
Or ear-opening, I guess, in this case.
Right?
Yeah, and it lets you identify any differences between your pronunciation and that of native speakers that you might not have been aware of otherwise.
Right, and as a really good tip for this part of the challenge, our sources suggest filming yourself.
Okay.
Saying this very famous phrase, "The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain."
I love that one.
Yeah, it's great because it includes a lot of different vowel and consonant sounds.
It does.
That are often the focus when you're working on accent.
Yeah, you really hit all those key points.
Yeah, and filming yourself adds that visual element back in. So you can actually see if your mouth movements are matching what you're hearing.
Yeah, you're putting it all together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been putting in the work.
Yes.
You're hopefully seeing some progress.
Fingers crossed.
But what happens when you're in a real conversation and you realize haven't been understood?
That dreaded moment.
Yeah, so our sources have some really great strategies for handling these kind of
accent emergencies.
Yeah. Yes. Accent emergencies.
Because having a certain accent is one thing.
Right.
But being able to make yourself clearly understood.
Yes.
That's the ultimate goal.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So the first thing you do is actually really simple.
Okay.
When you realize there's been a misunderstanding. Just pause briefly.
Interesting.
Don't just rush to repeat yourself.
I see.
The exact same way.
That pause is key.
Yeah.
Because it gives both you and the person you're speaking with a moment to process what just happened. It signals that there might have been a breakdown in communication,
right,
and gives you a chance to regroup.
Okay, and then the next step is to overpronounce the word or phrase that you think caused the confusion.
Right. Isolate the problem. Yeah.
Like really articulate it clearly.
Really go for it.
Yeah.
Exaggerate it.
Maybe even more than you normally would.
Yeah. The idea is to make it as unambiguous as possible.
Right. And if that still doesn't work,
okay, what's plan C?
You can spell the word out.
Okay.
But not just any spelling.
All right.
You want to use clear phonetic references.
Oh, smart.
So instead of just saying B, you say B as in Bravo.
Oh, using the NATO phonetic alphabet.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
Or M as in Mike.
Right. So there's no confusion.
Right.
Especially with letters that can sound very similar.
Okay. So to give you guys a chance to put this into practice right here with us.
Oh, fun.
We're going to do a quick live drill.
I love this part.
I'm going to say a phrase, and I want you to repeat it along with me at 3 different speeds.
Okay, I'm ready.
Slow, normal, and then as fast as you comfortably can.
Challenge accepted.
Okay. The phrase is, I want to improve my accent.
Okay.
Okay, let's start nice and slow. I want to improve my accent.
I want to improve my accent.
Okay, now normal speaking speed. I want to improve my accent.
I want to improve my accent.
And finally, as fast as you can.
I want to improve my accent.
How did that feel?
It's interesting how it changes when you speed up or slow down.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about all the individual sounds.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys.
That was fun.
That was today's deep dive.
Into accent.
We explored how to incorporate those elements of clarity, precision, and a relaxed delivery that we talked about from well-known people.
Celebrities giving us all their secrets.
Exactly. We had some fun with those tongue twisters.
They were good.
Yeah, we looked at how technology can give us feedback. And we even outlined a plan for you.
7 days.
Yes, 7 days.
To better accents.
To better accents.
Yeah.
And of course, we gave you some tips for what to do when you're not understood.
Accent emergencies.
Accent emergencies.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. So now I want to leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
What sounds or types of words do you personally find challenging in your own accent?
That's a good question.
And what else are you curious about?
Yeah.
When it comes to English pronunciation?
What else do we need to cover?
Yeah, think about those questions as you continue on this journey.
Keep practicing, everyone.
Of refining your English.
This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.